Hello, my friends. My name is Sherry Sutton, and I am your marketing mentor. So excited for this free training today. I love this particular idea that I'm presenting to you. And of all the things that sort of I've used in my 25-year corporate career working with really big companies, this is the one thing that seems to be the most beneficial and the most impactful to the customers who don't have millions and billions of dollars to spend on marketing, right? And really understanding the psychology of how people sell, because there are three distinct phases for how you market and sell to people, right? Because they're all the same, right? But what's the process they go through getting to know you? And so that's what we're going to go over today is what are the three stages that people go through in order to drive them to buy, right? And then what are the things you need to do at each of those stages? Excuse me, because they differ depending on which stage you're at. So I'm going to pull up a slide. Okay. So 3 simple steps to getting new business. So again, as I mentioned, there are 3 distinct steps that you need to actively be working in order to drive people towards a sale. So let me first explain what this graphic on the left-hand side means. So as I said, there's 3 distinct phases. The first is awareness. The second is consideration. And the third is decision. You need to be doing different things at each of these points. And we're going to talk about those. They're on the right-hand side. We're going to talk about those in a minute. But I want to talk for a minute about why is it this shape, right? This weird, right? We call it a funnel. We call this the marketing funnel. The reason why is at the top, you see how it's much wider? That signifies that the awareness phase is going to take you more time, often more money, and you're going to get more people engaged with your brand. So you want to get in front of as many people as possible. You want to get in front of this big group of people, right? You still want to be targeted at who might buy from you. But you want to expect that in the awareness phase, you're going to get a lot of people. Now, not all of those people are going to go to the next stage, which is consideration. So now you see that consideration is much smaller, right? That's because not everyone who is aware of you is going to consider buying from you. I know you're awesome. And I know that they should, but not everybody will, right? They're not ready. They don't have the money. Maybe they're aware of you, but you're not the right person for what exactly they need, right? So let's say you do marketing activities and 100 people become aware of you. Only 50 of those are going to consider buying from you. The things that you need to do now in order to take them from that point of considering buying from you to a point of decision are very different than they're going to be when you're doing things in awareness. So you start with awareness, you get lots and lots of people in, right? Learning about your products, and there's certain things we do there. We're going to talk about those in a minute. Then a fewer of those are going to consider you. And now we have different things we need to do to get them to the next phase of deciding whether or not they want to work with you. Seeing your business and seeing your business growth through these 3 funnels is really going to change the way you market your business. And here's why, is because we need to do different things at different phases because people are thinking different things. So let's start with awareness. So we've talked about it kind of, how it works. But in the awareness side of things, right, these are the people who they're scrolling through Instagram, right? You've got, 3 to 5 seconds to get their attention, right? This is where things like photographs are real important, right? So in the awareness phase, people are willing to give you very little time and very little information, right? They're not going to be ready to give you their emails, right? So if your business model is based on, well, I'm just going to get their email before I give them any information, it's not going to work. People in this awareness phase, they need to get lots of information very quickly that really stands out, that isn't requiring anything back from them, except maybe a comment or something like that, right? So you want to make sure you're doing activities that are like that, right? That are driving people, that are getting people's awareness, right? Driving people into your world. And at this phase, you also need to be doing things very often, right? The repetition at this phase needs to be very, very high. So if you are doing a advertisement, let's say, I use this example on, I think on the training last week, which is like, you have to have 7 Doritos commercials during the Super Bowl before you think about buying Doritos the next time you have a party, right? And there actually is research around this that says it used to be 7, right? Where people had to see your message at least 7 times before they even were willing to buy from you. So in this awareness phase, people need to see you at least 7 times before they'll even think about going to consideration. That doesn't mean they're going to go. So the frequency of activities that you need to do during this awareness phase needs to be very high. When you get to consideration, now people are willing to give you more time and more information. When they get to the point of decision, this is really where, for most of you, this is really where either your website and e-commerce is super important or the one-on-one sale, right? And that's a whole other webinar in and of itself. So let's talk about the different types of activities you need to do at each of these phases. So again, awareness is getting people into your funnel, bringing people into their world with very short pieces of content, highly differentiated, super engaging, that require really nothing back from the end user. And they need to be repeated very, very often, right? You need to show it to people. They need to see it at least 7 times. Some people are now saying up to 30. So you need to be repeating this a lot, right? So the things in awareness that you want to be doing are things like SEO, social media in some cases. We're going to talk a little bit more about social media later, but social media, content marketing, blogging, writing articles, ads, right? Those could be print or otherwise. Public relations, that's getting written up in different magazines, being on podcasts. Networking is a huge one here, especially for businesses that are just starting. Often you don't have the money to spend on big advertising campaigns. So often networking, getting in front of the right people, right? Not just general networking where you go and the Chamber of Commerce is great depending on your business, but you don't need to just meet anybody. You need to meet your ideal client. And things like directory listings. These are all the things that can bring people into your world, right? Raise visibility, get people aware of who you are. Again, in very, things that are very short form videos, super differentiated, very engaging. You've got 3 to 5 seconds to get their attention here. So those are the types of things you do in awareness. Now let's move to consideration. Okay. So let's say I'm shopping for a car. I'm not going to shop for a car if my husband is listening to this, because I just paid off my car. Yay! So I just paid off my car this week. But let's say I decided that I wanted to look for a car. I'd probably start by Googling, right? Fuel efficient, small SUVs, right? It's generally what I drive. So my search engine optimization is good. So now I'd be looking on Google, right? I want to make sure, I'm showing up there. I might head over to social media, do hashtag, mid-size electronic, right? Mid-size vehicle, mid-size SUV, those, I can search by those types of things. That might be something to do on social media. Then these companies will probably start showing me ads, right? So these are all the things I do in awareness, but I'm not willing to give anybody any information, right? Let's talk about consideration. Okay, so now I'm at the consideration phase, and I've decided that I want either a Mini Cooper, which I love Mini Coopers, or a Honda. Okay, so now I'm ready, to really consider these products. So what am I ready to do now? Now I'm ready to give you the companies more time, and I'm willing to give them more information. Not ready to give them money yet, but I am willing to give more time and more information. So this is where we get to things like landing pages, lead magnets, webinars, your website. Your website is not an awareness generating vehicle. How your website is optimized for search engine optimization is, but your website is where people go when they're starting to consider you, right? They're willing to start spending some more time on your business and learning more about it. This can be things like freebies, like guides or trials, Facebook groups, remarketing ads, and social media is becoming much more of a consideration type of activity as opposed to awareness. And it really varies by your business, but without doing ads, it's very difficult to get in front of new people on social media. There are ways you can do it, but it requires a very specific way of doing social media. And I teach this in my signature course if you guys are interested in learning this a little bit more. But social media can also be a consideration type vehicle, right? People come, they want to learn more. I'll give you an example. This video, right? I'm sharing it with you guys now, but I'm also going to post it on social media. It's going to be long, right? Let's see, I've already gone 11 minutes. I'll probably go about 15 minutes or so, maybe 20. It's longer, right? And you guys who registered, right? This is a consideration type activity. You're giving me 20 minutes of your time. You gave me your email address, right? This is something that is like here, right? It's a webinar, right? A something that gives people a little bit more information about you. So there's lots of things you can do here. One of the biggest challenges I see for many, people just starting out, especially my coaches, is they want to I'm going to create a webinar and that's going to bring in new leads for me. That might be true, but it's often the marketing of that. So it's the ads, it's the content, it's the social media, it's the networking, it's the directory listings, it's the PR for that event. That's what's doing things on that awareness level. It's not the web event or the seminar itself, right? The only people who are going to watch this is a consideration activity. The only people who are going to watch this are people who are really interested in buying from me, right? But I may have gotten some new people into my world through the promotion of it, which was the awareness generation activity. So doing something like this gives me both, but I can't just say, I'm just going to do a seminar, put it out there, and I'm going to find new people are going to come into my world. It doesn't work that way, right? People aren't willing to give you 20 minutes and their email address yet. They need to see you first. They need to see you in lots of different places on an ongoing basis in that awareness phase. So now we get to the next level, which is decision, right? This is where often it's you're offering maybe product promotions like bundles or limited time promotions. This is where email marketing really comes in. And I think it's something that a lot of people miss. They go right to social media, which is fantastic, right? I'm not poo-pooing social media. I make most of my money on Facebook, but you want to have a point, generally in this consideration phase, where you're collecting people's emails so that you can then follow up with them and really get them to the point of decision where you can start really promoting things very specifically, right? Join this course, get this discount, those types of things. Because if you do that up in the awareness phase, and you can, but you should only do it on a very limited time, because my husband is out in the kitchen right now singing. It's hysterical. I'm like, what is that noise? And then I realized it's my, the joys of working at home. I completely lost my train of thought now, but so email marketing. And we were talking about offering specific promotions. One of the things that I hear quite a bit from people is, God, I don't want to do social media where I'm like, buy my whatever, get 10% off. And you're right. And the reason why it feels icky is because you're not at that phase of the sales cycle, right? At the awareness point, if you're going to be doing social media, you want it to keep it very, here's some advice, here's some of the challenges that you're having. then consideration, you give them even more advice on a deeper level. Again, this is a great example of that. Then you can get their emails. Then that's when you start, promoting your products, those types of things. And obviously you can use different some of these mechanisms at different points in the sales cycle, right? And in the marketing funnel. But in general, these are the types of activities you do. So it's really important when you're doing some sort of a consideration activity to use it as an opportunity to grow your email list, right? And stay in touch with those and have a really robust email process. From there, you're getting to the point of sale. And again, this is where if you sell online, your website's going to be incredibly important, especially the e-commerce portion of your website, or you're in, your one-to-one sales. And that's, again, a whole other seminar for another day. But I hope that this makes sense. I really want you to go home, take this. If you want a copy of this slide, send me a direct message. Let me know. I'm happy to send it to you. And really think about what are the activities that I do in each of these. I like to have you pick one, maybe two for each. If you're going to pick two activities, do it on the awareness side, right? Because that's the most activities you need to be doing is on awareness. So I have a lot of people who do, especially early on in their businesses, right? When you don't have a lot of money, they'll do networking and social media, right? Those will be the two things they do for awareness. Then under consideration, they might do something like a webinar, right? Your webinar and your website. And then under decision, we've got email marketing, as well as offering product promos. I can tell you that for my business, that's my exact plan. So awareness, I do social media, and I do networking. I'm starting to add in more content marketing. I've created a blog that's going to help me with my search engine optimization. So I'm starting to work on that, but I'm in year 3 of my business, right? So when you're first starting, it's really good to, social media and networking are often the easiest ways to start getting that momentum. Then you can start adding in some of the other pieces. And that's also when it's really good to hire a marketing mentor like me, because we can figure out, okay, one, are you optimizing the things that you're doing now and doing them in the best way possible? But also, what are some of the other things we can do to get more visibility? Because at some point, your social media and your networking, you tap out on those, right? You need to add in other things as time goes on. And that's when I usually work with companies, is to help them kind of figure that out without spending a ton of money, right? Then again, when you get to consideration, this is where you're asking people for more time and more money, right? And you're really nurturing them by giving them longer pieces of content that they can really learn about you, right? This is where they go to your website, they learn lots about you, or they go to a seminar like this. I see people, people who are watching this now. Then you can get to emails, product promotions, direct mail, some of those types of things. I hope this was super helpful. Send me a direct message. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if you have any questions. I know it's like an easy concept, but sometimes it's a little bit hard. So again, your homework is go through each of these and pick 1 or 2 activities from this list that you're going to do in each phase of this cycle, right? In each phase of this funnel. So let's say again, it's social media and networking for awareness. Then it's for me, it's webinars and my website. Under consideration, decision, I have email, I have product promotions, and I do some social media all throughout each of these. So, and if you have any questions, or if you want to have somebody that you can really sit down, hash this out with, come up with a customized plan just for you. I'm your person. I am a business growth specialist. I work with small businesses and big businesses to help them figure out exactly what they need to do to grow their business without having to take all the classes and try to figure it out yourself, and without spending a ton of money on hiring an expensive agency. So if that sounds good for you, give me a holler. I would love to chat with you. My website is didi.marketing, DIDI.marketing. Or you can email me at sherry@didi.marketing, or just send me a direct message. And I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon.